Hello and welcome to our video today. In today's video, I'm going to take you through the Cesim Bank simulation. But before that, we are offering tutoring services. So if you need help in the Cesim Bank or any related simulation, remember text me on the email on the description or on the WhatsApp number in the description. Thank you. So first things first, currently we are in round 3 of the simulation, which means we are actually in the middle of the simulation because this Cesim Bank simulation that I'm working on in this time ends at round 5. So I'm going to take you through the decisions that I'm going to make for round 3 of the simulation, and so that you can see how we're going to maximize on our profits for the simulation. So we shall start with the outlook. We're just going to go step by step and department by department and make decisions together. So for the outlook, as usual, the outlook simply gives you an overview of what's going to happen in the simulation, and also it's updated after each and every round. So you need to be so keen about it and go through it, and you should go through it before making the decision in the simulation. So it's good to go through the market outlook and know what the market wants in the simulation, so that you can know what people need from your bank, or maybe you can know what the market is going on, or maybe if we have the new policy actions or whatever they have in the simulation in this round. Also, you have the market monitor, whereby you can also go through it and check. And then we shall go to our first department, which is now the consumer. So after going through the results, remember you should go through the results, compare your team, know how you are going, and maybe you can see the challenges that you're facing in the simulation before making decisions for the next round. So you should compare yourself with your competitors and know what to come up with, or maybe you can know the strategies that you need to come up within the simulation. So we shall start with the consumers, and the consumers is the first department, so it's the deposits. So under the deposits, we have the deposits part and the credit product. So we shall start with the deposits. And under the deposits, actually the deposits normally include the demand deposits and the fixed term deposits. So it simply includes the savings account, and the savings account includes the interest bearing and maybe liquid accounts. And also we have the term deposits, whereby you have the fixed term deposits, and which are mainly a fixed term. So it can be maybe an interest offer for 12 months. We have the other one for 24 months. So they are fixed in a particular period, and they really have a lot of interest. So the fixed term deposits normally have a lot of interest in the simulation. And another thing that you need to know under the deposits, that the deposits are simply the foundation of the bank funding, because when you deposit money into the bank, that's what helps it maybe to develop. And maybe if you have a lot of people depositing, or maybe a lot of customers depositing in your bank, it simply means that that one will lower the need for external funding. So you won't need maybe to take external funding to finance your company activities, or maybe your bank activities. So you should also know that in deposits, you should set high rates for each deposit type. So you should also allocate a marketing budget so that you can promote maybe you can promote the deposit products, and also you should have a good customer service so that you can retain maybe the depositors that are depositing in your bank. So that's it about the deposits. And under the deposits is simple. You have to give an interest offer in basis points. Remember that the white cells are for the decisions and the blue cells are for the estimates. So you need to make good decisions based on what happened on the last round, so that you can have the best marks. Next is the credit products. And under the credit products, you should know that it's also called the retail loans, and it includes maybe the personal loans, and which are unsecured for general use. It also includes the home mortgages, which are secured but are long term, and they are simply the long term real estate loans. And also lastly, it includes the credit cards, which are the revolving credit, and they have high interest margin, or maybe they have a higher margin, but they are very risky. Remember, some people can take credit cards from your bank so that they can use that money, then they can pay later. Remember that it has a high margin, but it's very risky in the simulation. You also have the consumer loans, which are also part of the credit products. So here under the credit products, you should make sure that the price loans should match, or maybe should be a bit higher uh, so that you can beat the competitors. And you should also make sure that you're using a risk-based pricing, which means that higher risk is equal to higher interest in the simulation. So here we normally make decisions for the pricing, maybe the mortgage loans for the 12 month, 5 year, all that. Also, we have the net loan growth, which will just maintain at zero for all of them. And also on the other side, we have the lending terms. And under the lending terms, you have the expense to income, whereby you have the mortgage loans, whereby you need to give a percentage. Consumer loans, which for us we give it 24%. Also, you have the loan to value in percentage, which is 70%. And you also have the maximum maturity years, which is at the moment we have 25 for the mortgage loans. And also you have the salary multiple credit cards, which are 2.5. You also have the provision for loan loss, all that, and maybe the net charge off, which you normally give it 0.2. Next, under the consumers, we have the sales channels. And the sales channels is mainly made up of or maybe the sales channels is simply the interface between your products and maybe your customers. So you must also make sure that you align the channel strategy with the target customer behavior. And also we have to increase our digital presence for cost effectiveness and scalability under the sales channel. So here we normally make decisions for the consumer loans and the credit cards, and that's it. And you can see here we have a graph for the product sales effort time allocation, whereby we have the consumer loans, credit cards, and maybe the deposits. That's it. Next department is actually business. And maybe if you're stuck under the consumers and you need help, you can just feel free to text me or to text me on the email of the description or on the WhatsApp number, and I'll help you out. So the next department is actually the business. And as the business is divided into two, SME banking and the corporate banking. So we shall start with the SME banking. And the SME banking is simply the small and medium enterprises. So for the small and medium enterprises, these are simply volume driven, less risky, and then they have large clients, but they are more labor intensive. Remember, you need to follow up on your clients, so they are actually labor intensive. And then they serve as a gateway to larger corporate relationships in the future. And here we normally compete on speed, convenience, and relationship service, not just pricing, because you're competing with other teams and maybe with other banks. So you need to compete on speed, convenience, and relationship service for your customers. So you have the loan terms, maybe the credit rating, which is triple A, double A, triple B, all that up to the end. So you have to make decisions for the margin in basis points. Also, you can make decisions for the growth rate, and also for the provision loss, you can also make an estimation. Down here we have the other lending terms, and for us we are using the balanced one. We are not using maybe the strict or the loss, we are just using the balanced one. Next we have the competitive positioning, whereby we are using the balanced approach and the standard products. So after making decisions up to there, we can check our projections, and you can see we have a profit for the period of 25,924, and in the last round they had 6,100 6,189. So let's continue. Next is actually the corporate part. And under the corporate part of business, this simply means that it's also called institutional banking. And remember that this one has a higher margin and maybe a high value relationship. And the lower the volume, it has a lower volume than the SME, but with large loan sizes and maybe stronger clients. So the corporate one is used maybe by stronger clients compared to the ones on the SME, and they take some large amounts. So you need to make also decisions for it. And then our next department will be investments. If you are stuck under business, you can also text me on the email in the description or on the WhatsApp number, and I'll help you out. So under investments, we are focusing more on investing in the company. And you have the brokerage services, whereby maybe you need to account up per month, the premier services, the transaction fees, which is the percentage of the value. You also have to maybe make decisions for the assets under management. Those are actually estimations. Also the fees for the brokerage fees and whatever, or that, and also maybe the expenses. On the other side, under private, you have to make decisions under the portfolio management, whereby maybe you need to choose a segment that you're working with. Maybe all potential clients, we have people who are using the private wealth management, where people are using the top tier private banker. So for us, we're just using all the potential customers. You also have to set management fees and advisory services per hour for your customers. Next part of investment is actually the products, whereby you need to invest on the products. And at the moment, I'm using 6 products, so fund 1 up to fund 6. And they have a different class. We have ones that are stock and the other ones that are bond. And also under subclass, you have others that are value, green, and maybe the investment grade. And under geography, you also have to specify. So fund 1 is actually in the world, and then Finland fund 2, Nordic fund 3, USA fund 4, Europe fund 5, and emerging markets fund 6. So that's it. Those are the products that you have in the market. Also, you have to make decisions for the fund offering through partnerships, and maybe for the structured products, whereby for us we're using a structured product specialist. So next department is actually the personnel, and personnel, we are actually talking about the personnel management. And when you hear the word personnel, we are simply talking about the workers that we're having in the company. So we shall start under this part. And at the moment, we are not hiring anymore. So I'm just going to use the workers available in the simulation. So I don't want to hire any workers, and have only laid off 1 worker under the retail. Next part is the personnel policies, whereby you have the compensation wages. And for us, we are using actually average wages of 15%. Then you have the performance pay where you need to choose. And for us, we are using profit share based performance compensation. Profit share is actually 3%. Here you need to choose the training product program priorities and budget. For us, I'm prioritizing sales development and maybe the products and services. And also you need to choose the training time per new employee in days. So my new employees will be trained in 20 days, and for the old employees will just be trained in 12 days, so that they can have a know-how of how the company works. Management relations and HR development. For me, I'm using the HR to realize value. That's it. So next is the systems. And now the systems, we are simply talking about the investments in AI systems. And I'm just giving it 100 only. And under the system development, I'm using the early adopter. Under risks, we have the risk management, whereby you have to maybe have a good risk management budget. So for me, I'm using 1,200. And under the overdue credit allocation people, I'm using only 8 people. Yeah, that's it. Next and last part is the treasury. And under the treasury, under the interbank lending, I'm using 90. Maturity, maybe for the treasury notes 10, for foreign bonds 5. Yeah. And then when you can check on maybe my projections, you can see that my profit for the period is 25,924, which is very, very excellent. And for the last round, it was 61.89 for the profit. So this means that we are getting high, and we are going to win the simulation. So let's hope for the better. And if you need help in the simulation, remember, text me on the email on the description or the WhatsApp number on the description, and I'll help you out. So thank you for watching my video. Don't forget to share, subscribe, and like my video. Thank you so much.